So, since I've entered the early stages of decrepitude, right? Getting a little older, body changes, mind changes, lifestyle changes. So, I decided to put into place new habits, new ways of thinking that have been very, 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 very interesting. So, I thought I'd share this with you guys just in case you're in the same boat as me in terms of the chronological disposition of our existence here, meaning we're getting older. So, one thing, I'm starting to do a lot more intermittent fasting, and this is hugely beneficial, hugely beneficial. I have now reached my high school weight without even trying hard. And so what I do is I don't eat until about noon. And I stop eating around 6, 7, sometimes 8, but I try to hit for 6. So from 6 o'clock, we'll say, until noon, I don't eat. I just drink water and coffee, and it has a hugely positive impact. At first, your body is going to protest because it's you. If you're used to eating all the time, your body's like, I want food. But after a while, your body gets used to it. I've been working on this stuff for a few years now. And what happens, though, for example, right now it's around 10 a.m. and I haven't eaten since yesterday around 6:30, 7. I'm fine. I'm not at all hungry. You know why I'm not hungry? Because I got a body fat percentage around 19%, and that means 190 pounds now. That means I got like days and days of nutrients packed on my body in the form of fat. I don't need to eat. Because my body, now when you feel weak, lethargic, or you feel pains or anxiety because you haven't eaten, that is not because you're hungry. That's just because you're detoxing from drugs. You see, there's a lot of addictive qualities to food, especially breads and sugar. Anyway, so long story short, number one thing that has a huge impact in terms of the quality of my existence right now is this intermittent fasting. It's pretty cool. Once you get used to it, it's fantastic. So yeah, number one, intermittent fasting. Number two, I'm starting to do things that I didn't like doing in the past, or I would do something, let me restate. I like to do things now that I don't want to do. Let me say that again. I like to do things that I don't want to do. This has been a very interesting way of thinking now, of doing things that you don't want to do, because you're essentially exposing yourself to something new. And I have found it often changes my perceptions of things. It opens me up to new experiences. So I would suggest that as well. Now, there's certain things I will never do, but there's other things where, I'll give you an example. So I decided that I was going to travel around the U.S. for 4 months on wheels. So I bought myself a self-driving car, SUV, and I had my destination was going to be a beach town, a relatively small beach town in South Florida. But along the way, I decided to take my time, and I got one of my buddies, his wife let him take a week off, drove down into the States, and we randomly go to different towns. Just like, where are we going to go? I don't know, we'll try this place. Boom, we go. And what I discovered with his trip was that going to random places really changed. Like, we find some cool little towns with 20,000 people, and find cool hotels and so on. It changes your perception of things when you go into Virginia and South Carolina and North Carolina, and then you go to Georgia, and then you're Florida, and then in Florida's all over the place. And I had the same experience when I came back. So I'm doing another trip. I'm going down the middle of the state. Big part of the reason is to escape the cold in Canada. Canadian cold weather sucks. Anyway, so I'm going there. I'm going west, and then I'm going down the center of the country. And I'm going to hit Chicago, New Orleans, and Tennessee, and I'm going to down in Texas, and I'm going to go to Austin, and maybe I'm going to go up to New Mexico, Nevada, all over the place. When you have a self-driving car, that type of traveling is easy. It's easy. So it turns left, turns right, speeds up, slows down, massages my butt, heats my butt, cools my butt. It's easy. Driving in a self-driving SUV that's comfortable, it's just you're sitting in your living room and you're just, talking to people, listening to podcasts, radio. So it's a lot of fun. Anyway, there you go. So those are the two things. Number one, intermittent fasting. Number two, do things that you're not necessarily, you are not necessarily wanting to do. For me, I'm kind of an organized guy, being a nerd. So I would say, I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go there, and I'm going to go here. And I would plan everything out. But doing an extended road trip with no particular place to go at no particular time is fantastic. That's why I hate flying, by the way. I have no fear of flying, but I hate flying because you got to show up at a particular time. You got to go through the customs. You got to, you get in the car. That's it. I'm going here. I'm tired. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go to this hotel here. Keep going. It's fantastic.